What up, random rockers? It's been a while. I needed to decompress. And may need more time to do so. But then again, if doing so, I got a pile up of stuff I've listened to. And eventually I'll get to that pile up and amongst a couple anniversaries. Till then, we have what's come out this week that I was able to check out, which was 4 albums. And I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, starting with Corey Taylor, CMF 2. Yeah, I checked it out. Do I think it's bad? No, actually. I heard the 30 Seconds to Mars one is, and I believe that. Way more than this. Way more than this. Do I understand the complaints of it being a little more generic and not nearly as risk-taking as the last? Sure, but the risks that were taken for the most, at least the last 2 tracks, weren't quite great payoffs. Especially the single that they chose to come out with CMF Must Be Stopped. Yeah, luckily there's none of that. There's still some cringy lyrics in a couple moments, but other than that, especially on tracks like, clearly Toxic, it does. A little bit of We Are the Rest kind of does that a little bit. I think more the second verse. But other than that, musically, I don't find this that big of an issue compared to everyone else, because most of what I liked about the last record that wasn't the last 2 tracks, this does. Was more of for me, while also somewhat flirting with other ideas that maybe they didn't get a chance to do the last record, but it's not in a way that's feels completely out of place. Also, the All I Want Is Hate is kind of and then there's a weird way they end that shit. Luckily, Dead Flies does enough that it makes up for it, I guess. But other than that, I think like Post Traumatic Blues and Beyond are actually like some of the better tracks on here. Though for the most part, I don't have as hard enough time coming back to it as most people probably would. But would I prefer it over like Wolfgang Mammoth WVH or something? Probably not. I'd rather you listen to that, but don't hate this. It's not really bad. It's just more mid to meh, attempting to be good at least, I guess. It's also coming from someone that, used to consider Creed as his favorite band at one point. So, if you want to take that as a grain of salt, I get it, but here's also the thing. Like, I wasn't wowed by the Creed reunion, so maybe not completely not having, because I know enough to know that with that whole thing, it's just, I don't want to even get into a tangent with that. I can say that for, like, when we get to it. Like, in maybe either an Alter Bridge video or when Creed actually does decide to release an actual album. Who knows? But as far as this Corey Taylor, which, hell, I'm sure he didn't want me to have that have the word Creed associated with his review. I understand that if somehow Corey Taylor is watching this. I highly doubt it. But if for some reason you do, in that regard, I will apologize to you in that regard. And, given you didn't give us a CMFT Must Be Stopped type of a thing entirely, all is forgiven in that regard. But I will say, try to do some more risk-taking, but make sure the risks actually pay off and not what you did with that, or yet alone fucking Adderall off the last, whatever the fuck that was off the last let's not do that again. Let's not do that again. Moving on to something obviously better that I wasn't expecting to talk about until I found out about it. And it's all the way up north in Canada. That band is the Enduring Spirit. Apparently they were a more old school style death metal that happens to be technical within their playing. And this is the first time they decided to apparently pull some prog shit. Like this. Like some human era death. And whatever it's Symbolica or whatever the album that came after Human is. I need to like brush up on my death, so forgive me. But I do know that at least the Human one led to Cynic Focus, and that record holds up surprisingly well and pretty much defined most of what is a lot of modern progressive metal in the 2010s up to now at this point. That wasn't already clued in by the BT Bam stuff from Colors. Or Devin Townsend for that matter. But, yeah. This is my first exposure for this band. And when I heard that they did this kind of stuff, I was kind of like, okay. And yeah, this is... And the moment, like, with this track that I just played a little snippet of for you, Will of a Whisper, woo! The moment they did some jazzy shit, I was kind of like, wait, now we're getting into some stuff. Even though most people will tell you Angelic Fabrication's pretty good. And everything just flows from there, from Will of Whispers to me from that point forward, even the closing long-ass track of the Enduring, that is essentially the pseudo-title track known as the Enduring Spirit of Calamity, which I'm surprised I didn't just call this album that, and just the Enduring Spirit. I don't know. Oh, they should have just put that in of Calamity in parentheses just to make it clear it's the title track. But but really, I'm just being nitpicky because this thing, there's an album I didn't get a chance to talk about that I will talk about later. And it's from a band called Horrendous that does this death cynic shit. And I liked that, but the issue I had was production. And the production was too lo-fi and too old school for its own good. You know what? It needed whatever the fuck production this fucking thing had. And I would have loved that record. Possibly even more than this. But because of that, I like this more than that. Figure that. So, if that speaks volumes for you, especially in terms of progressive and more technical death metal, this is an album to look out for, man. If you're into that shit, especially if you've been needing something of that Colors BT Band thing, but a little bit more grit and grimy, or like a more classic death metal kind of a thing to a degree. That's more closer to Death's stuff. Meet your new best friend. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Go ahead and check this thing out, and it's for, being more progressive and stuff. It's like most classic death metal albums, pretty fucking short. Go check this thing out. But moving on to some even more bigger deals compared to the Corey Taylor record that I already talked about, and that's starting with Tesseract. War of Being. I was gonna cover this fucking thing no matter fucking what. I know what I said about Sonder, but I'll be damned if I can, but having listened to this, and even some of the singles coming off of it, I can see how this is a follow-up to that, while also doing something that a lot of people are saying is that this is their heaviest since their debut one, yet alone technically their actual debut in the EP Concealing Fate, which wound up on one. Regardless, yeah, and somehow, from a performance standpoint, this is possibly even tighter than not only Sonder. And initially, I was not... I'm going to give it... You know what? I even like, when it comes to the War of Gent, let's face it, it's usually the thing that comes about, it's Tesseract versus Periphery. Let's be fucking real here. And in this, and the fact that once again, in a long time, both of the bands come up with albums in the same fucking year. Figure that shit. And, whereas last time I would have given it more to Periphery, compared to Tesseract, I'm giving it to Tesseract this time. Because Daniel Tompkins is... even his screams are more interesting in comparison to the last time. And he's bringing back the best aspects that I loved about Polaris with his soaring and crooning cleans. Fuck. I missed it so fucking much. And hell, the Natural Disaster already eventually got me more interested. By the time I got... but the track that is more what I love from Polaris, Echoes. Mwah! I know some people don't talk about it, but I am. Echoes, fuck yes. The other singles that were on this thing, besides the opening title track, which had a great music video to it, even though I wasn't that impressed with it, but it works better here in the context of the record. But the Grey and Legion are fucking fantastic. We're way better singles as far as I'm concerned, going into this record. And the Grey always has the best scream line to me that just fucking hits for me. That all you need is instant gratification scream is just the way he does it. Is it just saucy. And I love Sacrifice as the way they ended this record, the second longest of tracks here. Luckily not as long as the title track War of Being, but... and then Tender is nice and all this, but... yeah, I would still, personally, I'm still preferring that specific thing that worked about the Altered State Polaris era of this band. But I can't not give props where it's needed. This is actually kind of number 3. Will be for my top 3. Will make top 3 as far as Tesseract's discography is concerned. For sure. And coming damn close to those, a lot more than I thought. So yes. Also, for those who don't know about this, the singer Daniel Tompkins, and those who are from the Schmodown verse that are for some reason checking out and bothering to get to this point in the video, it is Maddie Gunner's teacher. For those of you who haven't been in some of my chats and all that stuff, by the time I'm probably sending these to you, but yes, this is his band, and it's awesome. Also, check out Maddie Gunner's stuff. Mourner, I believe. I'm trying to remember the other stuff he did. One of them was like some demo-ish, some like early, like the Poison era Bullet from a Valentine, but like demo sounding. But if they were demos or something kind of sound thing. I mean, Mourner's different. That's like more closer to more modern metalcore in like a good kind of way, and not like trashcore or super generic. There's something there. Or at least it's attempting to be. I wouldn't say it's like what you're going to get out of that Silosis record. More on that when I get to it. But yeah. If you haven't checked it out, please check this out. And I did my shout outs. There you go. Moving on to, honestly, what I think is the final, and is the saving the best for last of what came out this week. And that album is Baroness Stone. You know what, we're starting. I had to get the real riff out of there, man. The last word, I mean, it starts off sort of in a softy way and also ends on a softy note, but it works. Somehow it fucking works. This is like their 5th album, their first without going under the color wheel, and from given the title, this is called Stone. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to, like, thematically, from this point forward, do something with the elements. of the natural elements of the planet. Because stone seems like earth, another way of saying earth. So even though there's like other elements like fire and brimstone kind of thing going on with this album cover. Also, the color palette is a lot more vibrant compared to their usual ones where they have to stick primarily to one color. And I was a little disappointed with, despite what I did wind up doing and putting it at the time, my top 15, before I just stuck with that top 10 and did what I've been doing. It was top 15, and I had to overdo what I thought of the Demon Hunter double album thing for this, despite the fact that its production and mixing issues were just, but the songs and just the way they were done on Golden Gary was good. I just hope that they learned from that lesson, and apparently they decided to just self-produce this, go to Joe Barresi for mixing, and Howie Weinberg, or Steinberg? Weinberg, I think it's Weinberg, for mastering, who I remember him mastering one of my favorite albums from Thrice, Artist in the Ambulance. So yeah, they already picked, and Joe Barresi having worked with this made up for whatever he did already with, for sure. Like, he at least made a better progressive record than what he already did with Avenged Sevenfold. I'll even admit to that, because by helping them out, and plus I'm forgetting the new guitarist and singer, her name, but I love her vocals on this thing, and the way her and I hate doing this like this to you all, but I love the harms on the male to female vocal harms on this fucking thing. Even the spoken word moments on this thing still work, even with the damn heavy riffage on tracks. And that could be a make or break for some people, maybe around, especially around choir more so. Maybe a little bit of like segue-ish things with the dirge. Embers is kind of a segue. And Bloom is definitely a great like ending, and like almost borders alternative country in a way to me. That works for me, you know? Beneath the Rose is another great one. Anodyne's got another sick riff. Shine has probably one of the best fucking choruses. Best harmonic choruses ever. Even Magnolia and Under the Wheel have their nice heavy moments, and Bloom just this album winds up going back to being like this perfect balance. I haven't enjoyed this a record from them since this much, truly, since Purple. With the thing that got me into this band in the first place. And having gone through the end of their discography, yeah, this is somewhere between like bringing back some of the sludgier aspects of Red album and Blue record, mixed in with what the experimentally stoner rockish elements that they brought together on through the likes of the last couple records in Purple and Golden Gray, which technically they should have just fucking called it Orange. I guess Golden Gray is just another way, a way to make a rustic color that looks orange. I don't know. Because they couldn't say Red and Yellow because I already did that. So, I don't know. But, yeah, this is definitely an album. I get the hype is real on this thing. It's an album of the year contender for sure. Even the spoken word moments are fantastic. And the way they even have moments where like during spoken words, and then you get these nice little low things in the background vocals that are just kind of monstrously creepy, that just add something eeriness to this that works and adds a more oomph to it, you know? Oh. Also, yeah, and Last Words Chorus is also pretty solid, sick too. But overall, yeah, sorry. Apparently this is longer than I thought it was going to be, but if you stuck around for this, thank you. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed these. I didn't really give a score to the other ones. I guess I'll give Seamuth 2 thumbs up. Keeping It Real. I mean, I'll give definitely some horns up for the Nerd Spirit. The Tesseract records horns up as well. Horns up well, but horns up in Masterclass certification for Baroness. yeah. Yeah, that's album of the year contender here. What did you guys think of all the albums here that I've listed? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. I'll see you in the next video. Whenever the fuck that's going to be. Please, thank some of you for your patience. I mean, seriously, you have no idea, guys. Like, I've dealt with enough fucking loss between losing out on a relationship, losing a relative, and now, as of literally not too long ago, losing a family pet. So, fuck 2023 as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But thank those that came around musically in 2023, like that of a Baroness or a Tesseract, or even a Tomb Mold for that matter, for even trying to do something to get me through this shit. So, and all the other albums I'll probably be talking about and have talked about. So, thanks for sticking around. Sorry this was taking longer than I thought it would be, but I should have known with 4 albums, so oh well. Thanks as always, guys. Keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.